Eastern Standard Time tonight, where essentially the demand or the time runs out for Iran to negotiate with the United States and vice versa, and it doesn't look like we're going to see it resolved in really any way. So the expectation is leading up into this event that crude oil is rising in price, and what is that doing to the Fed fund futures? Well, it's pushing the rate cuts out into the future, and you can see that the rate cut at one point it was priced into June of this year, and now it's been pushed all the way out to December of 2027. And probably the biggest change inside of the market's expectations here is going to be related to crude oil, because crude oil is inside of this series of extension long levels here. And inside of those long setups, we have pullbacks from our Thursday's last week's lows to highs. And then inside of those Thursday's lows to highs, we have pullbacks from overnight lows to highs. And I want to zoom out here and look at the larger targets. They're up at $134. They're up at $159. And so what we're watching here is the potential breakout of these previous all-time highs at $119. And if we go through those $119, we're going much higher. We're going to 130. We're going to 134. We're going to 159 above us. And the Fed fund futures are going to stop pricing in a cut at all. And they're going to start having to price in rate hikes. And that's something that we have not seen yet. And that is not priced into the market. Crude oil breaking through these previous highs. So where does the crude oil trend continue inside of our price action? Well, there's of course these smaller setups, but I would argue that everything above these 103.17s, even if we were to have volatility today and even tonight at 8 o'clock, what changes if these last week Thursday's lows to highs have broken? Nothing about our uptrend. It just means that we're not going straight up through. We're going to have a larger consolidation. And crude oil has this tendency of dipping into lows before rallies. And that's why we're so focused in on this 106. It would be a gift if we were given the opportunity. But we haven't been yet. And so crude oil is defending long setups here from just an overnight lows to highs. And it looks like it's going to break through those previous all-time highs here inside of this more aggressive series as we're going into our morning. And this is what drags the indices down ultimately. Breaking out of this high at 119 takes the indices down inside of their daily short setups. And we'll zoom out here for a moment to a 12-hour chart. And you can see that over the last 9 weeks, we've had 8 bounces into resistance, almost one every single week. Well, last week we had a bounce, but it had such a large distance to rise back up into our full 50% retracement that we didn't make it there by the end of the week. Last week was also a shortened week, which is lower levels of participation. Well, this week, we're still technically inside of counter trend longs from lows that would grind us up into our resistance levels. And our question, of course, as we're moving forward into the morning, is will crude oil rising even let us squeeze the rest of the way into these? This stream continues at emoneyaddict.com. The link is in the description. Join me there for tools and resources for learning measured move trading. I wrote the book on the measured move. Check out the hundreds of others that have learned trading plan development, pattern recognition, money management, and trading discipline with me to become the best, most confident trader that you can be.